Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do a detailed review on this Mr. Coffee one-touch CoffeeHouse Espresso Cappuccino machine. It also makes lattes. Model number EM6701SS. So this retails for around $359. You can get it on sale for $235 right now. But I was able to buy a used one off of Amazon. Now, it was just an open box used. It came repackaged, and I was able to get it for $170. So this is a newer version of a machine they've had out for a while. This is the Mr. Coffee Cafe Barista, and these two are really similar. I'm going to do a comparison video with this one, and I also have a detailed video on this one. Okay, so before we begin, this does not make a coffee like from a drip coffee maker. It makes an espresso shot, and it makes lattes and cappuccinos by frothing milk in this milk frother. So it does make a mess. You kind of get used to it after a while, but when you're dealing with espresso and putting it in the portafilter, so be prepared. You are going to need some old towels because they kind of get stained, and be prepared for a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. So today I'm going to be using pre-ground espresso. I'm going to do a separate video where I use a grinder that I grind my own espresso. But you can buy this Cafe Bastillo espresso ground coffee. Now it's ground at a fine grind. You don't want coffee that's ground at a medium grind. I'm also going to be trying out this great value espresso. It says it's for coffee and espresso machines. You can buy it in these bags. They're just a little trickier to deal with and save a little bit of money. Now you might be tempted to use a coffee. Like this is a Starbucks dark roast, French roast. This would be perfect if it was ground but at a finer grind, but it's at a medium grind for like a drip coffee maker, and same with this. So here we have, so this is Dunkin' Donuts ground coffee at a medium grind, and that's a medium roast. You're not supposed to use a medium roast. You're supposed to use a dark roast. Here's that Walmart coffee brand. Here's the Starbucks. Now it's a really dark roast, but it's at a medium grind. It's not ground fine enough. Now this is that Cafe Bastillo. See how it's ground? It's much finer grind. That's what we've got to be working with. Now this is that great value espresso. It's ground pretty fine too, and it works good. But the Cafe Bastillo does work the best. So if we want that rich taste out of an espresso, we really should be using an espresso dark roast ground at a fine grind. Now when we get into the latte side and the cappuccino, I use 2% milk, and we put it in this container right here. Now this machine will do skim milk, soy milk, almond milk, whole milk, any milk that you would like, it does. Then I also got some syrups and some white chocolate sauce to make with our cappuccinos and stuff. Makes our drinks taste really good. Okay, so let's have a look at the machine. We've got these are our espresso shots, single and double shot. We can also do a manual shot. There's our latte, cappuccino, and froth. And it also has a clean button. That light will light up when it's time to clean your machine. After 200 cycles, it does tell you it's time to descale it. And it has a descaling mode you need to put the machine into. So I'm going to do a separate video on how to descale this. Here's your milk frother. It's got this little arm so you can direct the milk froth into your cup. Here's the drip tray. This drip tray is a little different. It's got this thing. When this fills up, this is going to poke through to let you know that your drip tray is full. You'll see a little red thing poke up through there. This also acts as, if you want to stand, and you put it right there. If you got a shorter cup, you can put it right there. Now it does have a little section that kind of goes back into the machine. Now I find that we don't get a bunch of water in here from the espresso part. Now some espresso machines, when they've got that little section that goes back inside the machine, they do tend to fill up rather quickly. But that's not the case with this one. Up here at the top, this is nice and steel. Now this will get warm. I'm going to show you that. That's to preheat your mugs. It's got a nice design. Come around back. No cord storage. 2-prong plug, and it's not very long. We've got our water tank. We've got an on-off switch. Now this one is lit. I really like that. There's the water tank. It's pretty easy to hold, and we can fill it up with water. Now over here, this is a little tricky. You got to lift up on this and pull this out from the side. So you'll get used to that. It's just a little tricky. This is where we're going to keep the milk. This is how it froths it and steams it. So let's just, some of this comes apart. This is like just a tube that you can go either way, but it just pokes in there and stays. This has got a little metal thing for where the milk comes out. You just quarter turn it. It comes out. There's a little notch right there, and it slides in that track. And that's all the disassembly you've got with this. This is a knob we'll talk about. You put it in like that. Now what's nice about this is when you've got this filled with milk, you can take this off the machine and put it in your refrigerator. So you're not constantly cleaning all the milk stuff. So to put it in, you got to come from the side. There's a little groove here. So if you start right there and just hold the machine. Now make sure it will snap. That means you've got it installed all the way. Again, that's for lattes, which has less froth, and this has more froth for cappuccinos. And then this is a clean function. Nice and grippy, easy to turn. So up underneath here is where the hot water is going to come out for the espresso. And here's our portafilter. So here's the portafilter. This is a double shot and a single shot. So, and again, the way we put these in is there's these two little detents, and you'll notice right here and here, there's kind of an opening. So if you line those up, it pops in, and then it's nice and flush, and then it turns. But when you want to take it out, you got to kind of line those up again. It can be a little tricky, but you'll get used to it. When they're lined up, it pops right out. So this comes apart. Sometimes you got to take that screw out and kind of deep clean that area. I'll do a separate video on that. It's got a pretty nice plastic handle. The espresso is going to come out in 2 spots. And again, I'm going to show you later in the video how to take this apart. But that's where we're going to put the espresso. And then once you've got this, make sure you got this. See, that can be tricky, putting that in there. And then see how it says unlock. So you're going to start over in this position. It can be a little tricky, so you got to get it up, and it should turn and face you. That means it's installed correctly. So check out my video. You do have to prime both these pumps, or there's one pump, but you got to prime the milk side and the espresso side. So check out the setup video on that. Okay, so I've got the milk filled up. There's the max line. This line is for another video I'm doing. I drew that on there myself. I've got the water filled up back here. You can use filtered water, bottled water. Just don't use distilled water, because your water does have to have a little minerals in it for the coffee machine to work right. So again, you've got to turn this switch on here. It's got a backlight to let you know that it's on. I really like that. It helps if you plug it in. So when you turn it on, then the light comes on. So that's on, and the circle is off. So let's turn it on. Okay, so I'm going to put my mugs up here, or my glasses. Let's get them nice and warm. Preheat them. The first part of this video, I'm just going to do an espresso first. Then I'll do a cappuccino, then I'll do a latte. So no matter if you're doing espresso, cappuccino, or latte, you always have to put espresso in the portafilter. Now again, I mainly use the double shot. There is a single shot. And if we look on here, when we do this is the double shot. We need to use that. If we do a single shot, that's that one. And same with here. If you do a big latte, use the double shot portafilter. If you do the small one, use the small one. And same with the cappuccino. You've got 2 sizes. Okay, so this is where the mess starts. There's really, there may be better ways out there. This is kind of the ways I've come up with. But you do end up making a mess. So I have a little, I got this little mat. And again, this is really fine stuff. And it comes with a scoop. I find the scoop is not very helpful because you end up making a big mess. So I ended up putting it in this shake container with a lid that I can pour it out with. It just seems to be really nice. So you got to make a little mound in here. Even this isn't the best, and I'm going to make lots of messes. So making a mess is fine. You just got to have lots of old rags or towels that can get stained a little bit. See, it's already coming out. Okay, so we made a little mound. Now we've got to tamp that. So again, the other side of this is a tamper. Now this is all plastic. Now you're going to want to tamp that pretty good. You got to tamper. Here you go, press down. Okay. Now, unfortunately, this tamper is not the exact size of this circle, so you might have a little red ridge on one side, so just tamp it down. Now we've got some of this left over. Just brush it off. You don't want to get that up inside the machine. It kind of makes a mess. We don't have anything else around. Okay. Now see how it's down about 1/8 of an inch? That's about right where we want it. So we made a pretty big mound, but when we tamped it down, it's just below the rim there. Now we come over to the machine, we put it in like we did before, and then we turn it till it's a 90-degree angle towards us, right towards us. Now when we first turned the machine on, these lights were pulsing. That lets us know that there's the heating elements inside here are heating up. Once this light's for the espresso side, this light's for the milk side. So once both lights are up and steady, that means the machine's ready to be used. It takes about 1.5 minutes. So since I'm doing espresso, I'm going to raise this up right there. Get my mug. It's not super warm yet, but I haven't had the machine on very long. And if we feel up here, it's starting to get warm, but this does take a while to warm up quite a bit. But it does get pretty warm. I was really surprised how warm this gets up here. Okay, so you're going to want to put your cup underneath there. It's going to come out in 2 spots. Now, some people do double shots. They'll do one in one shot and one in another shot. So if you move your glass over, in theory, you could fill up 2 little espresso cups, but I like to put both my shots into one. So the machine is nice and warmed up. Again, this is the espresso. It doesn't really say, but it is. So you're just going to press it. Once is for a single, twice is for a double. So press it and then press it again. And then you just sit back. It's automatic. Boy, this machine, yeah, it just gives a little bit more than it should. I've noticed that with this. Let's take an espresso, cools off really quick. So let's do a quick temperature. So that espresso is about it was about 165. I saw. Yeah, 167, 168. Okay, so we take our cup off. Now again, I don't drink espresso like that. It's a really rich, but it's a really bitter and kind of acidic to me. But it goes great with drinks. Okay, so let's take the portafilter off. We're just going to reverse it. We're going to go back this way, and then it will come down. So there's our espresso shot. Now again, this can be, you've got to get that puck out of there. You know, and sometimes I have to go to the sink and just rinse it out. But you end up getting a lot of coffee grounds down your sink, which is not good. Now this is an extra, this is called like a knock box for espresso. You can take this to the trash can and just pound that out, but what happens is sometimes that filter comes out of the portafilter. So let's just see if we can get this. So there's the espresso shot came out. Now I can take, now be careful, this is really hot. Now I can take this to the sink and just rinse this out. Okay, so I rinse this out. You don't have to take this apart and clean this every single time. I'm going to show you later in the video how you do. I take mine apart about once a week, maybe every couple weeks. So, but the main thing is you want to get this nice and dry. So we're going to be doing some more shots. It's very important just to keep that filter dry. Okay, something I want to go over with you. So quantities. So espresso, a single is 1.25 ounces. This is what it puts out. A double is 2.5 ounces. I have noticed it puts a little bit more than 2.5 ounces. Cappuccino, a small is 7.5, large 15.5, latte 13.5, and a big latte 18.5. Now this is the suggested cup. You're going to have foam and stuff, so you have to have a pretty big cup. Even though you're not getting 18 full ounces, you do need a big cup because of the foam, the froth. Okay, so now let's put this down. And this is one of the limiting factors. I'm going to put this in because sometimes you need to put a pretty big cup in, but you can't. So let's go over. So with the tray installed, you can put about almost a 4.5 inch tall cup. That's all you can get. So sometimes I do find myself, so these are mixing containers, but they hold a lot. I have done my drinks into a mixing container and then transfer it over to a travel mug or something. I typically don't have a problem with the cappuccinos. It's when you get into the lattes you need some pretty big cups and they just don't fit underneath there real well. Okay, so now I'm going to try the Walmart Great Value Espresso. I've got it in a separate container. Again, just make a hill. It's okay if it gets all over. And then you're just going to tamp it down. Now see, this I did too much, so I want to show this to you. So when I tamped it down, it didn't go down past this. That's not proper. I've got to do that over. Okay, here it is. I've tried over. A little hill, and we're going to tamp it down. Now I have noticed the Cafe Bastilio, it tamps down a lot better. This is almost ground, it's almost not ground fine enough, but it does work. Again, make sure you got none on this lip here. Then we're just going to put it in the machine. Turn it. Okay, so now we're going to put our cappuccino cup. Now it's got this lever that you want to make sure you're going to point the milk into the cup. So it's going to steam milk and froth is going to come out of that. And then it's going to do the cappuccino. So when we press the cappuccino button, it first does the milk, then it does the espresso. It's really nice. Just press one button and it's done. The hard part is making the espresso shot, is putting the espresso in the cup. So a cappuccino should be 1/3 steamed milk, 1/3 frothed milk, and 1/3 espresso. So we'll see if it works. And again, this kind of is the latte symbol. There's not words on here, but we're going to put this over towards now there is that way. I'm not going to go all the way. I would like to go right about there. That's the cappuccino symbol. That means it's going to have more froth. Lattes don't have as much foam or froth on top. They've got a lot of steamed milk. So when you turn the knob this way, you're not going to have as much froth or foam, but you'll get a lot more steamed milk, which is just really hot milk. So we're going to do a cappuccino, so let's put it right there. It's kind of loose, but you kind of get a feel for where it is. Our blue lights aren't flashing, so now they're on steady. And I'm going to do the double one because I got the double shot in here. So just press this twice, and then it's all automatic from here. It's going to first... There is quite a bit of steam coming around, but it's not super loud, but it kind of gives you the feel that you work in a coffee store. It's kind of fun. Kind of makes you feel like you're a home barista. Now it's going to switch over to the espresso shot. Now you'll start to see the layers. You'll see the foam will be on top and then the steamed milk will be on the bottom. So there you've got your 3 layers. Let's just check a quick temperature. You're right around 154. It kind of varies through the drink. So at this point you can drink it like that, but I like to add some syrups and some, so for like a white chocolate mocha, you can add I usually put 2 tablespoons of mocha in there, and then I actually add a little bit of dark mocha. So you could use Hershey syrup for that. So let's go ahead and add our sauces. And then I like to stir them in at this point. Again, all of this sugar really gets rid of that real bitter taste of the espresso shot. And then with the milk. Now I might have added too much, but these do taste like some pretty good drinks. Don't forget a little bit of... Now you don't have to add the whipped cream, but this is one of my favorite drinks. And then I like to drizzle just a little bit of syrup on the top, just a little bit. There you go. There's a really nice white chocolate mocha. And again, you can add the salted caramel. These are like the liquid syrups. These go good in there, really good. Just play around with it. If 1 tablespoon, you could put 2 tablespoons. So let's see how this puck did. And then we got to pound this out. And see, and then it drops in there. And then that's really hot, so it can be tricky. Clean up with this can be kind of tricky. I'm just going to have to take this to the sink and rinse it out. Okay, so the machine's been on for a while. Let's see how hot this top gets. Yeah, so it's taken a little bit. It's not really super hot yet. Okay, so let's make a latte. I'm going to use the Cafe Bastilio espresso. Again, I got a little mound made, and I'm going to press it down. Yeah, see, this works a lot better. And then just kind of wipe the stuff off. You don't want to get the stuff in there. Again, we're going to put it in. Make sure you got plenty of milk. Lattes do take a lot of milk. We're going to turn this knob to latte. Again, make sure this is pointed. Lattes, so you need a big cup for these. And it's very simple. You're just going to come up here. Oh yeah, it says latte right there. Oh yeah, it says espresso right there. Sorry about that. So you just press it twice. It's doing a big latte. It's going to do the steamed milk first. Then it switches over to espresso. And there's the 3 layers. Now it does give quite a bit more froth, even though I had this turned all the way down. I do feel like it does put a lot of froth in there. I would have thought it would have been a little less than that. Now when you're all done, you don't want to leave this portafilter in there. You definitely always want to take this, remove it, and clean this up every time. But what's nice about this is before we take this off and put it in the refrigerator, see how we got a bunch of milk? I can leave that milk in there, but we're going to clean the tube. So the tube's got some steamed milk in it, and we're going to clean it. So get you an old container, put this underneath there, make sure it's pointed in there. Turn this knob to the clean area right there, that red thing's on the clean, and press that button. it's going to run just steam through there. It's automatic. It'll shut off when it's done. Yep, it's automatic. So now it's done. You can see you're just going to throw it away, but it cleaned out that tube. Now we lift this up and it pulls off to the side. And now, be careful, that's hot. Now I can put this in the refrigerator. It's ready to go for the next time. Just make sure next time you turn that dial away from the clean. Sometimes you do have to wipe the outside of that off, but not too. It does a pretty good job cleaning the inside of that tube. It's also okay once in a while, so see how I've got the portafilter removed? I can do a single shot of just espresso, and you'll clean that area. Now be careful, that does get really, really hot. And then sometimes, now be careful, it is hot, but sometimes you got to take a rag and just kind of wipe that area. But be careful, that is super hot. I have burned my finger on that, but see, by wiping it, you do get some espresso grounds in there once in a while. So if you do leave the machine on, it will turn itself off after a little while. And if you want to get it started again, just press a button and the blue lights will start warming up. But you can turn the switch off on the right side. Okay, so I've got the filter here. I'm going to show you how it comes apart. It's got this unlock symbol. You're just going to turn it to the unlock position, and then this comes off. Be sure and clean that. That's like a little filter there. Then this just pops out, okay? You can clean all of that. Here we have this rubber thing comes off, and then we can separate these two halves. Sometimes you do get some coffee grounds stuck in there, but there's a little hole right there. Now, I've never had mine clogged, but that's where all the espresso has to come out, that little bitty hole. So just clean all these off, reassemble it. This has got like a lip. You're going to put it on here like that. This is a little tricky because this rubber thing has got kind of an angle. It goes up towards the silver part. It's got a groove that it fits in. And this just kind of wraps around and holds the two halves together. Okay. Then we've got to put it into this. There's these three little notches. Put it in, and then you'll rotate it until those notches line up and it pokes through. Then you're going to take this, and then it'll just quarter turn and you'll hear kind of a snap. That means it's installed correctly. Okay, so I want to explain, we've got these manual buttons over here. So we did the auto buttons. Everything's automatic. So I went ahead and put another espresso shot in. I turned this button off of clean. I got my milk back in. I'm going to put it right about the middle position. So let's say the espresso. So normally these are predetermined amounts, like the single shot and the double shot. So you can do that, but say you want a little bit more espresso, you can just hit this manual button, but you got to turn it off. So hit it once, it will run an espresso, and then when you want to turn it off, just hit the button again. So there, I've ran some. I think it will do up to about 5 ounces before it stops automatically. So say there's what I want, and then I can just hit the button again and it stops it. So even though, say you did your double shot, but you want more espresso, then just come over here and hit this button one time. It'll run some water through and then hit it again and stop it. Same thing with the froth. You can, at the end of your, like say when you do a cappuccino, say, oh, I want a little bit more froth in there, or a little more steamed milk. Just come up here and hit this button. It'll do just the froth. It won't do any more espresso, and then it'll stop whenever you're ready. So then I have to stop it by pressing that button again. There, it did just a little bit of froth. Is that not the coolest? And again, don't forget, if this light starts flashing at you, now when I can press it once when I want to clean the nozzle, but sometimes this light may start flashing at you. That means it's time to descale it. I'm going to do a separate video on that. Again, check out my other, I'm going to compare it to this one. This is the older version. It's a little cheaper. I've got several videos on this, how to make different drinks, the Starbucks salted caramel mocha, white chocolate mocha, the pumpkin spice latte. And I'm also going to be using, so I got this at Walmart that was right next to the machine, the burr grinder. So I'm going to grind my own espresso, but you got to make sure and get the right beans. You want dark roast beans. I'll put a link to these mugs, these little espresso cups in the show description notes. I am an Amazon affiliate. If you click on the link, the products don't cost you anymore, but it is a way of supporting my channel. I buy all my own products with my own money. Again, I don't claim to be an espresso expert, but I do get some really good tasting drinks from these machines. And I just have, so this machine, I got a lot of memories with this machine. I've had it for quite a while. It's where I've got the name for my channel. I did one of my very first videos was on this. It wasn't the best video, but the comments down below, somebody made a comment, said just a dad, and for once I'm not mad. That's how I started my channel. I thought, you know, a dad, I'm not an expert on all this, but I do read the directions. I do what the directions say. I kind of come up with some tips. But I make some really good drinks. I know the espresso probably could be made 1,000% better with a better machine and better tamper and a better grinds, but it just makes some good drinks. Again, if you see one of my videos where I'm making a drink with this machine, this machine is no different. You can follow the exact same directions on that machine and make your drink with this machine. So it's been on for a while. Let's see, you know, it did get a little bit warmer. About 84 towards the front. It's about 76. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate everybody's support. And if you could, please like and subscribe.